Hi folks, another eBay parcel, another eBay purchase. Again, I've had this for a while now. Again, the date on this, I can't see one. Try and find it. 25th of the 8th, 20. So just the 25th of August. So again, I just ran out of time to dedicate to this, but let's get it open and see what's inside of it. So again, with it being a few months since I purchased this, completely forgot what it is, but that just means it's a nice surprise. Turn that bit, there we go. Oh. Okay, at least we know it's been secure in its shipping. Oh, it's a Game Boy Color. Surprise. Oh, and a game. Excellent. Very worn and used game Pokemon Blue here, so we can test that separately. The Game Boy Color teal, a bit like the last one I did actually, the previous Game Boy, the one that we ended up using the board as reference photos. But this one, anyway, let's move on to this one. This looks to be in pretty rough condition. Some nasty looking, after that's just snapped off, it's rusted that bad. Yeah, in the battery compartment, that's some nasty images there. You can see on the screw posts, the screws, sorry, they're pretty gunked up. There's a nice big scratch on that front lens, so that'll be replaced. Yeah, so it ain't looking too promising. I'll give you a little close up of the Pokemon Blue here. Obviously very faded on that sticker at the front. It doesn't look too good in there either, so we'll test that a bit later. But what we're going to do now is get this open and just check it inside, because I have a bad feeling about this. Some dust in there, you can see. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this one, so let's get the mat and get the screws out. So this screw's giving me a little bit of trouble here. I can't actually get the head into the groove for that one, so what I might have to do is just try and scrape all the gunk out of it as best as I can. Let's see if we can get in now. There we go. Right, all the screws are out. This is the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and take the back off, if it would come apart without much resistance. So let's have a look at the board. You can just see a load of dust really. This one might not be too bad. What I'll do, there's so much dirt along the edge there. Look at that, beautiful. So what I'll do actually, because I don't think These battery terminals aren't too bad compared to this one. This is completely gone. This is rusted and yeah, we'll need replacing. So what I'll do is just knock off a bit of the dust and dirt before we go into it. And what I'll do is get out my incredibly high-tech power supply, which is basically just a AA battery holder, which these don't fit in very well, you can see there. And then with these crocodile clips I can go ahead and hook straight up to the part of the terminals that actually appear to not be corroded. Oh, boots on absolutely perfectly fine. Let's turn the volume up and turn it back off again. Yeah, absolutely no sound. So I've got the sound all the way up. Let's try it one more time. Oh, actually, let me. Very, very faint, very faint. So that's interesting. We could actually, let's test to see if it reads a game. Let's put in a working game. Oops, or a game we know that works. Let's try this Pokemon Red. Go ahead and slot that in. Let's connect these back up. So this isn't looking too bad at the moment. Just probably a speaker replace and a clean up of the board. Let's try. Reads the game and boots straight into it. Amazing. Yeah, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I've seen Game Boys in a lot better visual condition that have refused to do anything, so that's reassuring, that's positive. So what I'm going to do is take the board out completely. We will desolder these two terminals and replace them, and then give the whole board a good cleaning, and then give the shell a good clean, and then we'll look at the speaker just after that to see exactly why it's not working as it should. Now I heard sound, so the speaker works, just not, it's not very loud, so we'll look at that when we get to it. So this is the side of the board we've not actually seen yet, and I don't see much in the way of any corrosion or any issues with the board, just a bit of dirt that can easily be cleaned up. The speaker itself, there we go, sorry, that was probably not on camera properly. The speaker itself, there's a lot of rust on that, so basically it's just a new speaker is all that's needed there, and I think that will fix that problem. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, it just needs a bit of a clean up on the board. But this one has survived quite well, I must admit. I'm just going to close that off, try and stop any dust and dirt getting in there. But otherwise, let's go ahead and remove these terminals. I think, I might just remove the negative terminal because that one is completely gone, but the positive looks completely fine in all honesty. Probably just needs a bit of a clean up. So yeah, let's get on with that. So now I've got the battery terminal replaced just down here, the negative. It's a bit fiddly to get in, just got to clear all the solder away and then push that through, and it should sit properly for then for you to just feed some solder in there to make that connection solid. So now I've got that done, just need to give the board a good cleaning. So I'll go over it with the toothbrush and some IPA just to make sure we get rid of all the dirt that's on there. I can see there's a little bit of dirt here where the D-pad is, but otherwise this board's pretty clean, to be honest, but it's worth doing now we've got it open. So at this stage, plenty IPA, just kind of get it all over. Then use the toothbrush to get it in all the crevices. Really give it a thorough clean. So I'll just take the screen for now and slide that in. And put it there. And then let's give this a turn on. There we go. So the Game Boy boots up perfectly fine. Let's just make sure it can read a game as well. We haven't messed that up somehow. So I'm just going to try and, there we go. I may just have to have this slightly at an angle because the game's kind of not allowing me to fold it around properly. So I know it's out of focus there, but the game's booting up perfectly fine, you can see. So we know that's still working. Excellent. So just be careful with that. So now at this stage, the board's clean and back into, well, I'll say back into working order. It was working to start with, it was just the dodgy battery terminal that was all rusted and gone. So obviously when it was being sold for spares and repairs, it wouldn't turn on because the battery terminal was completely foobarred. So, but the rest of the board is perfectly fine, so we can set that to the side and get to work on the actual shell itself. Let's replace or get this lens out and separate the screen so we can go ahead and start to clean this, clean the shell. Some twisting to break this adhesive that's holding the screen in place, and then just have to grab one of the corners and lift it up, and it should come out quite nicely. Yeah. Perfect. Just set that to the side. Try not to get your fingerprints on it or any dirt. And then it's a simple case of just pushing through on this. There we go. You can go ahead and grab it from the other side and then start to pull it up. And it doesn't really matter if we break this because it's being replaced for a reason. And you can really see, I'm going to have to try and focus this, just how dirty this Game Boy is. Not nice, so let's focus this back. All I'm going to do here is just remove this metal shielding, like I said, and that'll make it a lot easier for us to clean up completely. Okay. Yeah, so you can see some dirt on that top left part of it there. I think maybe something's been spilt in. But this is in dire need of a good clean. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Okay, so now we've got the front lens on. I've still got the protector on it, so it looks a bit dull. We're going to fit the screen back on. Now, obviously, try not to touch the lens itself. I've got again, my lens cleaner here, which is perfect for blowing off any dust. But all I'm going to take is some 300 3M tape, whatever it is. This comes with loads of screens that you buy, or aftermarket screens and lenses, sorry, that you buy. So plenty of this. I can just cut 4 strips, 1, 2, 1 at the top, and definitely 1 at the bottom. Might leave the top, I don't know, but we're just going to cut them to size here. So okay, so now we've got the screen in, we can turn our attention to the board and replacing the speaker. And then I think that should be pretty much all that we need to do on this, other than just putting it back together. So I've managed to find, so this is the original speaker. It's all rusted inside the coil. But I got another speaker from a previous Game Boy. In fact, the one that I stripped down, so this one. Obviously it's missing one of the wires, so I can just take it off. This one, so we'll go ahead and turn the soldering iron on. Push this in from the top side this time. whilst heating the underside. Cool. Perfect. Right, so let's give this a test. Actually, let's put it back together and test to see how the speaker works and if the screen works. So okay, let's give it a test. Oh, we get absolutely no power here. This is interesting. Ah, I think I have... No, the batteries are in the right way. But I think this one isn't making contact. Let me just double check that. No, yeah, that's making contact. There we go. I'll have to double check that. Let's try that again. Excellent. So the speaker works. I just need to double check these terminals here. One, I think the positive here is sat a little bit further back than it should be, so it should be a bit more forward. Let's just double check this. Let's go ahead and put it all back together.